Welcome to the Momentum Matters podcast, where we have courageous conversations with women leaders. You'll hear about their accomplishments, their experiences, their challenges, and best advice. If you are inspired by women who have overcome the barriers and gone on to do extraordinary things, you are in the right place.
Hey everybody, it's Katie, and with me today on the podcast is Cathy Sloss Jones, who has just been a trailblazer in Birmingham, a longtime supporter of Momentum, and is a champion of all things community, revitalization, and we even talk a little bit about some of the food scene here in Birmingham. So I can't wait for you to listen in. Welcome to Momentum Matters. I'd love for you, Cathy, to start us by walking us through what it was like for you growing up in Birmingham. What are some of those early childhood memories that you cherish most about the city?
Well, you know, it's my hometown. I mean, I know you're from you grew up in Trussville, but it's still part of Birmingham and our wonderful surrounding region. So growing up in Birmingham, I grew up in the 50s and 60s in Birmingham. So my world was very different. It was a segregated city. It was sort of like it's always been a little bit the best of and the worst of. So there was just the hardship and the unhappiness of segregation and the craziness. It made no sense to me ever. As a child, the story I'll tell you is a child that I remember that was a hard memory. My father was on the vestry at the Advent Church, which is 4 blocks from 16th Street. And I was 10 years old when the church was bombed on that morning, and remember it so vividly, and it impacted everything in the city, everybody I knew. I mean, it was such a hard thing for all of us and everybody, especially the Black community. So that was, not for the world, really. Yeah. And it led to, the Voting Rights Act, and which was wonderful, but it was a hard thing to go through as a city. And so from my childhood, that was a big memory. But the other things I know about the city are it's beautiful, and I love the topography and the trees and everything about the beauty and wonder of the city. And as I grew older, I love buildings and built environment, and always have. And Birmingham is just this incredible collection of historic, beautiful terracotta buildings, and we've not torn them all down. Right. So our built environment is quite extraordinary. And so I sort of have had a, love-hate a little bit growing up, and thought I would just get out of here and leave, and left, and then felt like I had to come back and wanted to, because there's so much great work to do in this city. So I've enjoyed being here all my life, long time. What? My husband says, not yet. Not all your life. Not yet.
What age were you when you came back to Birmingham, and did you always have a love for buildings, or at what point did you really begin to notice,
when I was a little girl, my grandmother, I remember, I think she liked architecture too. My grandmother was a huge influence and really close friend, and we would visit old houses and buildings, and I remember dreaming about buildings when I was a little girl, walking through, and I still do. I mean, it's funny, that's just something I've done all my life. So I'm always interested in the built environment, and as time's gone on, I've become more and more interested in public space and how we build cities and neighborhoods that really address the natural environment around us and work for everybody. So it feels like it's spaces that everybody's welcome and feels comfortable. So that's what I love. I think that's been a big part of it for me.
And I've noticed, so Momentum is in a Sloss building. Our office has been here for a long time. Everything around here is so intentional. How do you go into all of that detail, knowing, everything from the lighting to the stone outside? I mean, is that decisions that you make? Do you bring people along in that process?
Well, I always bring a lot of people along because I have so many friends who are great planners and architects and artists. And so to me, it's really a collective effort. And it's a little bit like painting a canvas. To me, there's a great book I read when I was young by Stuart Brand called How Buildings Learn, I think. And just that buildings learn and grow. And if you can listen to the history of a given place and look at the natural environment of a given place and you sort of have to feel your way through it, but you can do it as a collectively. So I've always had a great team. I've got a great team that I work with. So it's just been fun seeing this place evolve. We've been doing it for, since 1988, for a long, long time. Yeah. And we always wanted to address the outside and have bike lanes. And, the farmers market is a huge part of this neighborhood because it brings a lot of people. And so, I just love it. I think maybe I just love it so much. It's
fun for you.
It's fun for me. And also, who's here? You all are here. I mean, if you look at this, it really is a community. Mm-hmm. I was at the open house last night for Laura Vogel for Odette, which is so beautiful. Really everything, it's just a beautiful shop. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful in the Southeast, has to be. So it was really fun to sort of see that kind of growth and how everybody works together, and it's a community, and that's a big part of what we do too, is trying to build that community.
Yeah, you talked about history. Can you walk us through how the business came to be, Sloss Real Estate? How did that come to be? And talk us through your family's history with real estate.
Well, the family's history with real estate, so the family history in Birmingham really started when the city started, and that was my great-great-grandfather built Sloss furnaces, but more importantly, he got the rail lines to come here. So he was sort of the person who was responsible for convincing the railroads to lay the main track, which gave us a river, basically. Yeah. We had no transportation system. So he then built Sloss furnaces, but he was not a steel guy. He was a railroad guy more than anything. So he didn't own it very long. I think he sold it a few years after he built it. But so that's kind of how the family ended up in Birmingham. And then my grandfather, when he had to start over in 1920 as a young man, he started our real estate company then. So I sort of fell into that. My dad came to work for my grandfather after the war, after World War II, and then when my grandfather died, I came to work for my dad. So there's been a family pattern there. Yeah. I have two sisters who work with, one works with me too, which is great, and the other's just involved in everything else in the city and loves it. So we like doing things together. So that's when the company started.
That's so cool. What about working with family is the most challenging and the most rewarding?
Well, family businesses are a little tricky. I mean, everybody knows that. It's never quite, but my son works with me. Oh, cool. My sisters both are very involved in what we do. And I think it's great. I mean, it's not easy. My dad died not too long ago, about 5 years ago, I guess. It's been, time goes fast. But he was 93, and he was great to work with, too. So he was just a huge support always to the three of us and to the business, and so we enjoyed that. It's all we talk about. We're always talking about business or buildings or neighborhoods or projects and things like that, which is nice.
What makes you proud when you look back on your legacy of the business? I mean, you just said it started with your great-grandfather and then your grandfather, then your dad, now you. When you look back over your legacy as a woman leading, how does that make you feel, and what comes to mind about your journey?
Well, it's been so interesting to see the changes that have occurred in real estate, because we primarily do commercial. We've done some residential, but mostly commercial. And it's been, it was rare to find women involved in that business when I was young. And so it was a little lonely for a while. My dad, again, was always very supportive of the work that I did. But I love seeing, I work with almost all women now. My son worked with me, so he and our CEO are the odd men out in the crowd. I think we have 3 men in our team, which is,
I was looking at the
they're all out. They're outnumbered, which is a good thing, and we do great. So I have all these extraordinary young, so smart women that really do all the work and get the vision and add to that vision. So it's fun. It's fun seeing it happen. I have other nieces, and we've talked about, other people maybe possibly coming into the company as time goes by. But I don't ever want to quit. I just enjoy it so much.
I can tell when you talk about it that you enjoy it a lot. What have you always been into revitalization as well? I'm just thinking again about where we're sitting. Pepper Place. You know, this wasn't as vibrant as it is now. Walk us through, like, was that a hard sell? Was it hard to pitch revitalizing this area?
Well, when we started, this whole neighborhood was really completely abandoned. All the buildings, everything that you see now they were all empty buildings. And what really prompted me to kind of start this, I mean, I was working with my dad, and I was a bookkeeper, and I was helping him maintain some things, but I was not really engaged in it in my 20s as much. But I took an Outward Bound course. I don't know if you know Outward Bound at all, but it's a wonderful organization. My husband at the time and I were involved with the North Carolina Outward Bound School and worked with their board and loved it. And we did something called a Council of All Beings, where you would go out. Part of the Outward Bound program is you do solos, and you really, you go into the woods and into the wilderness and you think about things.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, it was what I saw happening in Birmingham was there was a lot of sprawl. And our downtown, our beautiful, beautiful downtown was empty.
Yeah.
All these historic buildings were just abandoned. And then we were going out and cutting down forest and farmlands, which I hated. I used to ride horses kind of down 280, and that disappeared. And so it was sad to see all these beautiful lands. And so that was a lot of the inspiration for me, was why are we cutting down, tearing down this beautiful environment when we can rebuild the core? So that's the work we really started doing probably in 86, 87, long time ago, was to get people to come back and to revitalize. So to me, we're recycling buildings, it's kind of a cool way to, and you could never build these buildings again.
Right. No, and they're so beautiful.
They're so beautiful. They're just, they're built like tanks, and they're just beautiful.
They really are. How do you measure success when it comes to community transformation? Is it economic development? Is it public engagement, equity, a combination? What's the most important thing when you think about that transformation?
Well, I love that we're having this conversation because I've thought about it a lot. Kind of, what makes for a successful project in a given, or what makes for a successful city.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much interconnectedness between, no one project stands alone. And to me, it's all about honoring the history of a place. It's about community health. Economic development, of course, is a huge part of it. It needs to be beautiful. I'm not a big believer in car-driven spaces. And so I think walkability, I love now that we have these bike lanes and that people actually ride their bikes to work, which is kind of cool. So
I love taking a walk break around.
I know, and everybody does. And we have the trail right in, to have that amazing Red Rock Trail right outside of our door. The Jones Valley Trail is fabulous. So to me, it's really a combination of all those ingredients that make a really great place, that work for people. It's about, building for people and for a way that people can come together and really build community. If you build for cars, it's pretty isolating and depressing to me.
Yeah.
And so I just tend to want to create spaces that you can drive to and park, but you want to then get out and walk in the environment and be in it.
Well, your love for people shows in more than just the buildings. You have been so involved in the community over the years. Did your, love for people and helping others, did it start at that young age and what you experienced in Birmingham? At what point did you kind of see yourself as a community activist, a community philanthropist? When did that start for Cathy?
Well, if, you're asking these is great questions because I haven't thought about this in a long time. So my mother was very involved in the community, and as was my grandmother. So I have a family of very strong women, amazing women that I grew up in. All my aunts and great aunts were just amazing, all involved in Birmingham. And we have a real love for this city, which I love about all of us. I mean, you do too. And when you think about the champions for Birmingham, it's a pretty incredible team of people. One time a friend of mine did a plan for Birmingham, he lives in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and he said, Birmingham is really run by strong women. I've never seen more remarkable women than in Birmingham. He said that he'd done projects in San Francisco and, all over the country, 350 of these cultural plans. And he said, Birmingham is such an extraordinary city of women. So I grew up in a family of these amazing women too. And so there was a lot of probably inspiration from that, from my mother. I was a Girl Scout, which is always a good thing to be. And that was fun, and I learned a lot through that experience. And I went to a girls' school, and so I just had a lot of encouragement from a lot of people, sort of helping empower me and encourage me to roll up my sleeves and get out there and do some work.
I love it so much. So speaking of that inspiration and kind of related, mentorship is often a key for leadership development. How influential were mentors on your success? It seems like you're very connected to a lot of mentors.
You can't do it without mentors. I mean, you really have to have, and again, strong women. I mean, my mother was not easy because she was a bit of a force of nature, so you had to get out of her way a little bit. She was amazing. But my grandmother was just a nurturer. Again, family women were very helpful, but also so many community women have been close friends and really helped me think through, struggle through. You know, we all make lots of mistakes all the time. You just want to learn, and you have to have women friends who will help you acknowledge that and work through it. You know, I always talk about Odessa Woolfolk, who's a close friend, who is just, saint of this city. Change maker. But I've just been so happy and fortunate that Odessa's a friend, and through the years has really helped kind of guide me. But lots of people. I mean, I can name so many people that have helped me. You have to have mentors. And that's why I think it's so important, to reach back out, to help. And also, I'm so wowed by all these young women. I mean, it's so nice to meet you and look at the work you're doing and have been doing. I mean, these younger women are fabulous, and how we can help support, empower them is really, really important. So I want to do that now. I'm sort of getting at that age when I can help mentor more, but I've been very fortunate to have a lot of support all my life.
What gives you hope right now about the future of Birmingham and where it's headed?
Well, I think that Birmingham, we're still trying to sort of connect the dots collectively for our city, but we have an embarrassment of riches. And I will say that because I've heard that from so many visiting friends who say, this city has everything. It's beautiful, our tree canopy, our food, our art, our music, our history is so rich. These beautiful buildings. I mean, we have everything. We don't have a river. We don't have a river, but we have a river of steel with our rail, and now the railroad park connecting to Sloss Furnaces is fabulous. We've been well planned as a city. We've got a great mayor and great leadership. The challenge for Birmingham is still we need to work on rebuilding neighborhoods. Birmingham is a very spread out city. We're 150 square miles. So one of the challenges is, if you visit Charleston or smaller cities, they're more compact, and so it's a little bit easier to get that density that's required sort of to make things click. But I think Birmingham has so much to offer the world, really. And go back to our civil rights history, and what happened here changed the world. We talked about that earlier. And so there's a lot to be learned from lessons from Birmingham, what happened here in terms of how we move forward and solve problems collectively.
I agree. Before I move into the fun, rapid fire type questions that I didn't prompt you with, what are some other things that you might want to cover that we didn't talk about? What has been, here, I did want to ask this as I was browsing your staff. Obviously, Sloss Real Estate has grown over time. What has that been like, seeing your team grow, and how do you manage that growth as a leader?
Well, again, I have all these amazing, I have really a fabulous team at Sloss. And yesterday we had an ice cream social at Jenny's across the street. And we had so many babies and little, we have a lot of young mothers in our team right now. So that's very special. I'm lobbying for a daycare center in the office because I love these babies so much. But it's been great just working with them. I've really thoroughly enjoyed that, and watching them grow. And they're always learning and growing every day, and you can see that in them, and that's fun for me. So the company is a big part of it. And then there's a lot of community work. What we'll say in our company is half of our work is to enhance our portfolio, which is sort of the business side, operation side, but the other half of our company is to enhance the community. So we're always thinking about projects like the trail systems, for instance, which I'm real excited about, or food. We started the farmers market 25 years ago, which amazes me.
Wow.
And the market has made a tremendous difference. It's not just to this neighborhood, but it's made a huge difference to our farmers, to our general health. I mean, we're all smarter all over. We are a very sophisticated food city.
Oh, yeah.
People understand what it's like to eat seasonally and eat well, and our chefs and our restaurants are, there's just nothing like them. So that, to me, is something to be really proud of. Our music history is incredible. So how we nurture the gifts of this city and help hold those things up is a big part of the work we try to do, too.
I love that focus.
Yes,
you don't hear that a lot from a company as a goal, right? That says so much about your leadership and how you've continued to grow and expand Sloss.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Randall Woodfin. He's such a great mayor. And I said, next life, I'm going to be a mayor.
You would do well.
I would love to be a mayor.
You would do so well. Okay, so I kind of bombarded you with that question. What else do you want to talk about that I didn't cover?
Well, I'm trying to think about city stuff because, the city is what's really... I have had this amazing life because of Birmingham. I've had an opportunity to meet, I got to meet the Dalai Lama and really spend time with the Dalai Lama, and that's because I'm from Birmingham. And I mean, it is this city, if we all really understand how much this city means in the larger world, it's because of Birmingham. So I've just been able to ride that wave and have this wonderful life thanks to this city. And it's really been one of the loves of my life.
Oh, it shows.
Yeah,
I love it. Okay, so I've got some rapid fire questions for you. Okay. Just spit out what comes to mind. What's your favorite Birmingham? Huh? What?
Brene Brown.
Oh, yes. Yes, I have to say, she's the
fan.
inspiration.
She's pretty awesome.
She's the inspiration. What's your favorite Birmingham restaurant?
Oh, that's tough.
I know.
That's almost impossible.
Give us the top three.
Oh, golly, I can't even do that. I just have so many, my chef, like I had a wonderful conversation yesterday afternoon at our ice cream social with Chris Hastings.
Yeah.
And hot, and Zeb, his son, is coming along doing that. And Frank Stitt is such a champion, and Pardis, Frank and Pardis, as part of our food festival. They've been on the Farmers Market Board for 25 years. So, every time, because I love our chefs so much, and there are so many, and I'm also a La Dame Escoffier. Yes. So the women chefs in this city are remarkable. So all of the chefs are kind of heroes to me, all of them. They are.
Birmingham
so it's hard to
has
pick.
A food scene like
Nowhere.
You can't find it anywhere else.
You cannot do it. People come here. I have a friend who's real involved with tourism, and he'll say it's called destination dining tourism, and that people fly into Birmingham just to eat dinner.
I bet.
I mean, it's crazy. You'll look up in a restaurant, and there's some famous muckety muck who's just flown in to have dinner at, Ovenbird or something. So
amazing. I knew that would be a hard one.
So that one is almost impossible. I will say something about the chefs, though, because I think, these great chefs who mean it, and they're artists. I mean, they're not kidding.
Oh, right.
It is an art to them. So when we started the market, they said, we have to have really great local seasonal foods in order to do our craft.
Right.
And so we got to do it because we were losing our small family farms so rapidly. They were going to all be gone. So it took the chefs to kind of bring the spotlight to the farmers when we started the market. Yeah. And now the farmers are their own spotlight. Now people know and love our farmers. Yeah. So the chefs have done really, besides feed us, incredibly well all the time. So it's just hard to pick.
Wow. And thank you for sharing that. That is a relationship we often don't think about, between the farmers and the restaurants and how they...
The food, do you know about Food Plus Culture? We now have this extraordinary...
Because of Lee. I know about it.
Wonderful. And Lee and I that was the whole idea, was to put a big national spotlight on our food culture, which is, and our food community. So we have now, we had 19 states, people from 19 different states came last year, And it's just a great thing. And Southern Living's involved, and Frank and Partis, there's an award for Frank every year that's great. So it's just a way to honor that community and that culture. And it's reflected, again, back to our history, back to everything that happens around us. There's a real unique flavor that's Birmingham.
Absolutely. You are so right. Yeah. What's something you're watching or reading right now?
Oh, golly, I've got so many books I'm reading. I'm reading a book called Outlive, which is about longevity, which is very interesting. And then I'm just finished reading a book called The Demon of Unrest, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It was about the beginning of the history of the Civil War. So it was about Fort Sumter. And so I really enjoy history, and I've got a stack of books The Dutch House is another one. So I read fiction and nonfiction, and
do you read books?
I'm always reading a lot.
Do you read multiple books at the same time?
Oh, of course.
Oh my gosh.
That's
amazing. I always think that is so cool. My brain does not operate that way, although I wish it did.
Well, I read right before I go to bed every night, and then I read, and my husband and I like to read a lot. We don't watch TV, we just read, and listen to music. That's amazing. I've always got 2 or 3 books going at the same time.
I love it. And we may know this answer already, what was your first job ever?
My first job ever was probably, I worked at Aylin's department store wrapping Christmas presents.
Oh, fun.
And I can wrap a Christmas present. I'm very good at wrapping.
Yeah, that's a skill.
So that was right. But maybe babysitting before that.
Yeah.
I baby for 50 cents an hour. So I did a lot of babysitting.
50 cents.
I know, I think it's like $20 an hour now.
Yes. It's gone up quite a bit. Oh my gosh. Wow.
But that was all of that Girl Scout business.
Yes.
So, babysitting first, then wrapping gifts.
I love it. There is an art form to wrapping gifts. Do you put a lot of work into it now? Do you make them really
fast?
Yeah.
I can sit down on the floor and wrap a
Knock 'em
lot
out.
of presents really fast, and they look great.
I love it. This will be a fun one for you. We've talked a lot about eating. Who would be a dream dinner guest for you?
Oh, wow. So last week, 2 weeks ago, my life goes so fast, but I have 2 lovely I have older grandchildren too, my husband's grandkids, but my grandkids, my young ones are 7 and 9, and we took them to Disney World, which was kind of crazy. Yeah. You don't want to do it every year.
Right.
It's one of those things you do occasionally. But because they loved it too. But Paul and I, my husband and I, ended up going to a museum and watching a documentary about Walt Disney and the way he grew that company and envisioned. He was an amazing man. And we both said, he'd be great fun to have dinner in heaven with Walt Disney. Might be kind of an interesting experience.
It would be. Yeah, he had big vision.
He had big vision.
Big vision that still continues.
Yeah, if it does. And that's crazy when you think about it.
It is.
It really does. So that's a recent one. I can think of many more, actually.
Well, that's a good one. Well, Cathy, thank you for joining us and for sharing with us and for sharing your heart with the city. As someone who lives and works in Birmingham, I'm just so appreciative for all that you've made happen. I get to come to work in this beautiful building and feel inspired by it every day. It's rich in history and rich in beauty, and I just have you to thank for that. So thank you.
Well, you are welcome. I would like to thank Momentum, too. I mean, you all are, this organization and the work you've done, from my friend Barbara Royal to April, everyone. I mean, this is another team of remarkable women, and Momentum is one of the greatest things in the city. It's been so much fun to see the growth and to watch how we've all thrived and supported each other. So thank you for all you do, too.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Momentum Matters. We invite you to subscribe to our podcast as we share more important conversations with women leaders. We would love for you to rate our show and share with others in your life. This episode of Momentum Matters was produced by Social U and brought to you by America's Thrift Stores, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama, Protective Life, and Regions Bank. A full list of corporate partners can be found at momentumleaders.org. We also want to thank the individual donors, Momentum members, and volunteers for their commitment to our mission.